gathering, the art of allowing, for a number of years, because it's all about you figuring out how to allow that alignment. You figuring out how to hold a frequency consistently enough that you own it, that you know it, that you are it, that you be it. To establish a point of attraction with enough consistency that you allow momentum. Do you get that? Enough consistency that you allow momentum. Because when you say, I want it, but there's no momentum. I would like that, but you see, it's been hard for me. I want that, but my life's been very difficult for a very long time. Let me tell you the ways in which it has been difficult. And we say, stop talking about the ways in which it has been difficult, because you're killing the momentum of the desire that you just gave birth to. You gave birth to it and didn't allow it to get going. You give birth to it and don't allow it to get going. But imagine if you give birth to it and allow it to get going. If you give birth to it and allow it to get going. If you identify a new desire and are general enough in your conversation. Well, we said earlier, and we really, really mean this, that the easiest time to do it is first thing in the morning, because when you slumber, the momentum of everything that was before ceases. Now, you can reactivate yesterday's momentum by remembering what you were thinking about. And if you stay there for 17 seconds, you'll get that momentum going. But we really want you to hear that yesterday's momentum need not enter today's vibrational point of attraction. It's logical that it does, because you're habitual creatures and because you've got same friends that you visit with and you have these patterns that you've developed. But as you accept this small handful of things, first, all of your power, your point of power is right here, right now, in this present moment. An easier way for you to hear that is you have the power to choose any vibrational disc. You have the power to do it. You have the choice to do it, but you don't have sometimes the skill to do it yet, because law of attraction is yielding to you the vibrational equivalent of the momentum that you've already gotten established. So if you could accept from us, we are not kidding you at all, at all, at all. Yesterday's momentum has no power in today unless you reach into yesterday and today reactivate the thought of yesterday. You believe that? Yes. So when you get up and you know about this disc, and you know about thought, and you know about the 17-second rule, and we're not talking about food on the floor. You know that you've got 17 seconds to establish momentum, that you have choices. Then each day you do it, you'll get better and better and better at it. And so this is what we would do if we were standing in your physical shoes. We would put ourselves in our bed at night and we would say, tomorrow's going to be a whole new day, and I'm going to get off on the right vibrational foot tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. Period. We wouldn't spend a lot of time beating any drums or making any promises to self or getting all girded up in determination. We would just softly make the statement to ourselves and then go to sleep as easily as we can. Then, in your first awareness that you are awake and aware, we would acknowledge it's a new day and a new possibility of momentum. And then we would contemplate these spinning discs that Abraham has been talking about, and we would just make a statement. I choose the high-flying disc. I choose the highest, most resistant-free vibration that I can find. And it's going to be fun to see what that choice of that disc yields for me today. And no big deal in any event. And then we would just take the day as it comes. In the first moment that there's a dip in the way you feel, you'll have conscious awareness that you've maybe chosen another disc, and you might even have awareness of what subject it was that took you there. Because you have patterns of thought, you have issues that you deal with, you have certain people that take you there, you know that you do. And what's going to happen to you after a few days is you're not going to feel protective of this high-flying disc. You're going to feel confident in your ability to get there. maybe for a while not confident in your ability to stay there because life happens and you got stuff going on and there's momentum and there's people that you're dovetailing with, and some of them are easier to stay with than others. But gradually you'll begin to choose those conversations with others that are likely to keep you there and avoid those conversations that are not. But in the avoiding, there is the actual choosing of the other. So you can't walk through your day and say, I'm not going to talk to you, because that person shows right up. Just the idea that you're not going to talk to that person puts you on the disc where they live. And then every corner you turn, there they are again. It's uncanny. They're like stalkers. They're everywhere you don't want them to be. Law of attraction, make sure of that. But as you play with this for a little while, you'll begin to notice the absolute correlation between the magical things, it will seem like magic, it isn't, that begin happening in your life. The rendezvous with thoughts and ideas and others that feel better and better and better, until eventually you'll have this attitude, oh yeah, I choose that disc and usually I can stay there for a little while, and I can't usually stay there all day, and it doesn't matter because each day I choose it again and again and again. You just get better and better at navigating your way up this emotional scale. As you've been here banging around in your physical body, sifting through the variety that surrounds you, you've naturally contoured a vibrational reality. In other words, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. You just can't have any moment in time that you're not perceptually looking for improvement and looking for the best possible scenario for yourself. Now, there are a lot of people that don't want to be that way. You want to be more humble, or you want to be more giving of others. But we submit to you that unless you are selfish enough to care about your own vibrational relationship with your own vibrational partners, meaning the source within you, then you have no chance of alignment, and then you have no chance of steadily flowing the fullness of who you are into any moment in time. And if you're not fully aligned and flowing the whole of you into the conversation, into the lovemaking, into the appreciation, into the awareness, into the conversation, into whatever it is that you're focused upon, then the diminishment that you experience as a result of not allowing the wholeness of you to be there is what you would describe as negative emotion, and it's what we would describe as self-applied by you resistance, as a result of choosing thoughts in this moment that are not up to speed, are not equivalent, are not same as the thought that the source within you is thinking about the same thing in the same moment. As you form a perspective or an opinion, law of attraction will validate it, because law of attraction will match whatever you've got going on. So sometimes in your quest for rightness, you form an opinion and law of attraction just validates that rightness. We just want to point out to you that if in the midst of that rightness you feel negative emotion, the source within you is holding a different opinion. The source within you is not calling you wrong, and not even trying to get you to think differently than you think. Just being who source is, loving as source loves, keeping the light on for you in case you want to stumble in. Those like us are constantly carving out paths of least resistance for you in order to help you find that which you have become, to help you fully realize it so it can be actualized in your experience. We want you to realize the fullness of all that you have become. But before you can do that, you have to get the hang of this vibrational reality that we are all a part of. And you have to learn to read the vibrational nature of your being. When you're thinking about something that you don't want, you got 17 seconds to either decide it's something wanted and focus on it in order to continue the momentum, or 17 seconds to realize it isn't something that you want, and to slow the momentum by lack of attention to it. Esther said to someone the other day, I've got something to tell you, and I only have 16 seconds to do it in. The thing that we really want you to be aware of is the momentum. The momentum. We want to ask you to consider the momentum that gets going with a thought. And there are plenty of beliefs. Beliefs are just thoughts that have plenty of momentum. And some of the beliefs that you hold serve you really, really well and completely merge or mesh or align with the knowing that the source within you holds about you and everything that you think about. But some of your beliefs are not serving you well. And so some beliefs you want to encourage the momentum. Some beliefs you want to slow the momentum. And so we'll be talking about that here today. We want you to realize that the way you increase momentum is just give it more attention. So if it feels good, focus on it more. Become as detailed as you can. That's when you want to rampage your appreciation about it. But if you're feeling negative emotion, that's not when you want to increase the momentum. That's not when you want to apply more attention. That's when you want to distract yourself. Haven't you ever tried to get to the bottom of an issue with someone that you love? Did you ever get to the bottom? There's no bottom. Law of attraction promises there's no bottom. There's no bottom to how good you can feel. There's no bottom to how bad you can feel. There's no bottom because everything is expanding. You've just got to understand it, what it feels like when you are flowing it and what it feels like when you're not. Whatever label you want to give to this non-physical energy, feel the power of it, the momentum of it, the lack of resistance of it, and therefore the potential influence of it. And know that that energy knows everything that you've put into the vortex, where it is in relationship to you, and is carving out constantly paths of least resistance in order for you to find your way exactly to all of the things that you want with the most vivid detail that you have applied to your vortex. It is really a wonderful thing to experience. So what we're wanting you to focus upon for a moment is the feeling of that power of influence. And we want you to feel the power of that influence so strong. We want you to feel the vortexual version of it. We want you to feel the momentum of it, stronger than your earth spinning in its orbit. We want you to feel the upward motion of it. And we want you to feel its attention on you and the potential for calling you vibrationally upward to it. So here's this energy calling you upward, calling you upward, calling you upward. And if you are a cooperative component, up you go. Which means if you have not done that thing you do that holds you in a different vibration and makes you resistant to that, then up you go. So as each day goes by, that you are a little lighter, a little freer, a little less enamored with the troubles of your life, a little less verbal and a little less vocal and a little less giving airtime to the things that you don't want. As you cease doing more and more that thing you've been doing that has been holding you in a vibrational frequency that has been making you resistant to this upward motion, you become more buoyant. It's like the cork floats right to the surface unless you hold it under the water. And as you play with this idea of finding better and better feeling thoughts, you become just more naturally buoyant. And then the better it gets, because that's what it feels like when you're not holding yourself in resistance to your natural energy and flow. So the first thing we would do is set the stage the night before, acknowledge in the morning, and then do our best to stay on that high-flying disc as best we could through the day. Jerry and Esther have a beautiful property in Texas, and part of the beauty of the property is a pond that has been constructed. And it has headwaters and a stream that flows and makes some curves and drops some falls and ends up in a big pond at the end. And then the water is drawn out through some pipes into a pump and filter, and then it is put back into the pond. And the pond, when it was first put in, was just so clear and beautiful, just so natural looking. But over time, the pond and the stream became cloudy. So different people came to see if they could figure out what was going on. A new pump and filter was put in, but it didn't help, and clarifier was put into the water and so forth, but nothing really helped. And then it was determined that the pipes that were drawing the water from the pond were doing their job, sort of like a step one, asking. And the pump and filter were doing their job, sort of like source energy, answering. But the pipes back into the pond were completely clogged from caliche, very hard Texas soil. The water not going back in. So they just laid some new pipes on the ground just to make sure that their theory was accurate. And right away, the pond and the stream began clearing up. So we began saying to friends like you that you have some clogged pipes. And those clogged pipes are really beliefs that aren't serving you. Beliefs that don't allow